You've tuned in to the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
You realize what you've done?
With Rich Liebig.
The real gangster plays his cards, right?
And Michael Costanzo.
What was that you just read?
Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news.
Good times, noodle salad.
The point is, you now have the ability to be happy.
And now, here's Rich and Mike on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Woo! Yeah! How you guys doing?
What's up, everybody?
It's time for this week's episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news, folks. It's our job to give you the most interesting bits in real sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across. Isn't that right, Mike?
That's right. We bring it to you with our unique sense of humor and wackiness. You never know what you're going to get here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
That's right. We've got a few topics that we want to talk to you about, but, you know, this is an hour-long podcast. Sometimes we will go off the beaten path. We don't have too many rules. We have like one or two rules. And that's pretty much it.
We do?
I don't know, maybe.
If that.
But nevertheless,
we have loose suggestions.
That's right. But nevertheless, we are here to give you a informative and fun and maybe sometimes hilarious comedy podcast. I don't know. Sometimes we are.
I think so.
Yes. Let us know. Tweet us and let us know how we're doing at the Crispy Noodle. But before we get into all the news headlines, Mikey, how you doing, my friend? What's happening in Costanzo Country?
I'm doing good. Costanzo Country is staying busy with some new entertainment releases. I watched a little bit of Severance on Apple TV Plus. I talked about this
Yes, you did.
a few weeks ago. And, Rich, it's moments like this where I really wish you had an Apple TV Plus subscription. No, because I think this show is right up your alley. It is about an office worker who undergoes a surgical procedure to separate their work memories from their home life memories.
Yeah, you're telling me this is a good sci-fi thriller.
And I watched the first two episodes. It is a fantastic sci-fi, mind-bending thriller because...
Well, that just means I got to come over to your house and
Absolutely. Yeah, come on over and watch it because there's one line that gave me chills, and I think that this line, for anybody who likes these type of shows, that will convince them to watch it. A character asks the main character, well, what does the other version of you do? Because if their two minds are separated, the person who works, they don't remember going home at the end of the day. Every day, they just are back in the office for 8 hours. They walk through an elevator and come back a split second later for the next day. Like, think about that for a second. What does the other version of you do when you're not, like... It's not actually another version, but that whole idea that that is the only thing that form of you knows is that office. Like weird philosophical...
What's kind of sad, though, is there are people in an office setting that is their mode of thinking.
Yeah.
That their authority and their power is only like to their extent of the office cubicles.
Right.
So that is kind of,
It's
detrimental.
It's interesting. There's a little bit of that like subtext where it's like that commentary on work-life balance and work culture, but then there's also the weird sci-fi elements where it's like this dystopian future where the founder of this company is like a godlike figure. Like one of the things they have to do is like admire the you see the list of tasks and one of them is like admire the bust of the founder or something like that.
Oh, that sounds like North Korea.
Yeah, right. And their job is very eerie too. All they do is sort numbers, and some of the numbers are.
Sounds like Initech.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Strongly recommend it. Really, really good stuff. More on the sci-fi front. I also got a chance to play the opening hours of Horizon Forbidden West, the new PlayStation exclusive, big release. I mean, just as good as the last one. You're fighting dinosaur robots. You are, jumping and, sliding all over the place, shooting a fancy bow and arrow, and just this big, beautiful, gorgeous world that you're free to explore and do whatever you want to. And it's, a really compelling sci-fi story about, in the far future, the year 3000, all of humanity has died and disappeared, and the humans that come up in our place are returned back to a tribal, primitive state, and they look at the old wrecked ruins of our modern society and like, wow, the ancient ones, we are the ancient ones to them. So it's kind of cool looking at, life through that lens. What happens if we got snapped back to that primitive state. How would we view what we left behind?
Mm-hmm.
So
There
I'm
you
on
go.
a big sci-fi kick recently.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
A lot of sci-fi for you.
Yeah. What about you, Rich? What's been going on over on your end?
Actually, something you got me. I started Guardians of the Galaxy finally. I know it's been like 2 months after Christmas since you gave it to me, but I finally had some free time to install it. And
yeah, I mean it's one of those games where you need it seems like you need some time with it because it seems like it's a big game.
Yeah. For someone like me, it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect.
I mean, it's the 80s.
Yes.
It's the 80s, and it's rock, and it's a shooter. And
yeah, and but what I love about it is like the super power up in the move is called Huddle Up.
Okay.
And you basically before you get like to the last task of like a boss fight or I don't know, anytime when you have this momentum bar filled up, you can call a Huddle Up. And all the Guardians of the Galaxy get together, and Peter leads like a small pep talk. And when you come out of it, everybody has more damage points and skill points and shields and stuff like that.
So you actually like pump them up with your speech.
Yeah, but also as long as you don't have the copyright music option turned off, random 80s music starts playing. And it could be anything. It's hilarious.
That's
it goes
awesome.
from like Frankie Goes to Hollywood to Blondie to Tears for Fears. It could be anything, but it has to be something from the 80s gets plunked out. It's
that's
great.
awesome.
It's great. It's right up my alley.
It seems like it's such a fun vibe, that game.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, and a Guardians of the Galaxy video game shouldn't take itself too seriously.
Right. I mean, look at the movies. It's all tongue-in-cheek and just like, they're kind of like not the laughing stock of the superhero world, but they're kind of like the people, who you aren't really looking at them like the same way you look at like a Captain America or like a Superman.
Right.
They're not like, star-spangled and like perfect. They're like rough and tumble and weird and outcasts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I've played like the first 3 levels so far in the game, so I'm a little bit in, and I'm loving it. It's great. It's
nice.
like a perfect action game, but like it's not too serious, and it's got that random feature that the 80s music will start playing. It's great. I love it. It checks off all the boxes.
Checks the boxes. Action, fun single-player campaign, 80s music.
Yep.
There you go. That's the back of the box bullet points, 80s music.
Yeah, there you go. Buy me rich. There you go.
Buy me, yeah.
There you go. But no, you bought it for me for the holidays, so I'm finally getting around to it. So thank you for
of course.
treating me to a video game.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yep. So there you go. That's what we've been up to this past week. But now let's get into the news at hand, and let's go over our first batch of topics that revolve around sports in the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Sports coming at you in your face, and we're going to hit a fun topic in 2 minutes or less with a 2-minute drill. A very special topic that was submitted to us by the one and only. Can I just tease it off right off the bat?
You can, absolutely.
Teased by one and only your dad, Frank Costanzo, sent this in.
And I've been waiting all week to have a hot dog and a hamburger.
Yep, hot off the grill.
That's right.
hot off of Frank's
This
grill.
is a Frank special.
Yep, he's got a special topic in the 2-minute drill for us to talk about. So here we go. All right, what is it, Mike?
All right, hot off the presses, the Frank special. We're talking women's soccer. That's right. When my dad is left alone with the TV remote, he somehow finds women's soccer. But he watched an interesting match in which something quite unique happened. The U.S. won their match against New Zealand 5-0. But that's not the news. The news is that 3 of those goals came from New Zealand scoring on their own goal. But that's not the news either. All 3 of those goals came from one player on New Zealand's team, Michaela Moore. Within the first 35 minutes of this 90-minute match, Moore had 3 balls deflect off of her into her own team's goal. Then she was finally pulled at the 40-minute mark. I mean, I've never heard of this hat trick being scored by one person on their own goal.
Yeah.
It seems like such a freak rare occurrence. What would the gambling gods do in this situation, Rich?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's a prop bet for scoring on your own goal 3 times.
They're missing out.
Yeah.
Do you think there will be prop bets on this?
They're going to have to offer that at some point. Because
I don't think this is. I literally did not think this was possible until I heard about this.
Yeah.
What a freak accident.
I mean, this is like the equivalent of Nathan Peterman throwing 4 pick sixes or something.
Yeah, it was like
5 passes or whatever that ridiculous stat was.
Yeah, and it's so bizarre because you're right. In any other sport, this would be like
you're
nigh
pulled.
Impossible. Yeah, you're done.
By the second one, you're pulled.
Well, it took her 3.
Yeah, she made it to the third one.
A third of the way into the game, 35 minutes in. Yeah. Usually soccer games like 1-0, 2-0. This was 5-0, but 3 of those in 35 minutes on their own goal.
Yeah, that's a high-scoring game in soccer.
It's a high-scoring game in soccer. But not because of the U.S. team.
Yeah, no. Sorry, Mykala Moore.
Yeah.
You are the Nathan Peterman of
women's soccer.
Sorry to that lady.
So we never cover soccer, let alone women's soccer. So, but my dad, leave it to him to find the weirdest stories. But
that was almost an odd news story.
Well, you want to talk about news in the sports, Rich?
Oh yeah, we gotta get to this.
How about this next one? Now, this is almost a 2-part story because you texted me originally with the original story, then I followed up later in the day with the actual story.
I hate the media in the off season.
I really hate the media, and I also hate Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Rich, tell us what happened earlier the day of recording.
Yeah. So when I woke up this morning, I had all these alerts because I get notifications for NFL, football, all this stuff. I got notifications on my Twitter feed, notification on my news feed, notification on like the phone, like the actual news app function in the phone.
Right.
So like I was getting hit from this like left, right, and center, and everybody was blowing up. Aaron Rodgers posted this long, kind of emotional. It seemed like a farewell message almost. He called it a gratitude post or something to that effect.
Weird.
But it read like a farewell note. So everybody was like, oh my gosh, is this it? Is this the end? Is Rodgers officially moving out of Green Bay? It certainly seemed like it. And I'll tell you what, it might be a real option coming down the pike soon. But Mike, you did due diligence on this and actually found out the true reason for this post.
I did due diligence, and I did not enjoy what I found because what I found out is that Aaron Rodgers later clarified that he was simply expressing gratitude after completing a 12-day cleanse.
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of that cleanse, I wish actually let me.
There you go. Let you what?
Let me just do that. Let me pull up the text message that I sent you because it has more information in it. He completed a 12-day cleanse called the Pancha Karma.
This feels so good.
And according to some
that's
online,
all Bruno, by the way.
That's all John.
That's all Bruno.
I think that's what Aaron Rodgers was doing too, because according to people
He's on
online,
the Bruno diet.
according to people online, this cleanse requires evacuating at both ends.
Yep, there you go.
So, I mean, it also includes things like yoga and meditation and reflection. But the whole idea of cleansing in that way, you know,
yay!
in the John Bruno way,
yeah, there you go.
Doesn't sound too appealing to me.
No, and I don't know why that would be the primal cause for going on Instagram and making this long, emotional post.
I think it's because Aaron Rodgers is kind of dick.
I think he's just he wants all the attention.
He wants attention.
He's been loving all this attention ever since last year.
And he likes riling people up. Because he's said and done some pretty controversial things the past year or two, whether it's, the whole lying about his vaccination status or appearing on Jeopardy or will he, won't he be back with the Packers and, constantly toying with the media about, what the future of his playing career is going to be. He's toying with everybody. It's pissing me off because of all the quarterbacks, I think that he least deserves to toy with people because you've long known my opinion of the Green Bay Packers, that I think they're kind of a bad team masquerading as a good team because of Rodgers. Rodgers elevates that team. But they don't ever do anything.
No. Well, not recently.
Not recently. I mean, they won one Super Bowl, and they win like 13 games every year. And what good does it do? For the past decade, they've made it to the playoffs how many times with what to show for it?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just such a waste of talent and time and energy.
Rodgers
has just been pissing me off recently.
Yeah, right now, Jimmy Garoppolo has more Super Bowl rings than Aaron Rodgers does.
Yeah, right?
But nevertheless, this gets to an interesting point because, there's a lot of intrigue that's going to happen in this non-playing season, as the NFL calls it. But I think the first domino's got to start with Aaron Rodgers here. I mean, what do the Green Bay Packers do? They are projected to be $40 million over the cap heading into the new fiscal year or the new league year in 2022. So I don't know how they can't maintain the same team. It just can't happen.
No, they can't. And a big part of that, I'm looking up his contract details right now. The 2022 season, Rodgers carries a cap hit of $46 million.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think he's gone. I don't think Green Bay can go into. He doesn't want to sign a restructured deal. I mean,
probably not. No.
He made that obvious. He wants more guaranteed money. It's not enough. This is what pisses me off about Aaron Rodgers. Yes, go get paid, but it's to the detriment of your team. He's in it for. And nobody can convince me otherwise. He's in it solely for the paycheck. He doesn't want to win. He doesn't want Super Bowls. He doesn't want MVPs, awards. He wants the paycheck. And I mean, that's fine. It's a job to him. But don't pretend that it's more than that.
So you wrote down on here, what does Green Bay do?
Right.
The answer really comes down to
what does Rodgers do?
What is Rodgers' number one aim?
Money.
Is he trying to cash out as much as he can before his career comes to an end?
Oh, absolutely.
Or does he want to get one more Super Bowl ring? If he wants to get a Super Bowl ring, his goal should be to stay in Green Bay and to be in the NFC, because the NFC is looking weak right now.
Right. If he wants a Super Bowl ring, he's restructuring this deal.
Right.
Because his cap hits are $46.6 million and $33.1 million.
Right. And that's got to be at least 20% of the team's salary cap.
I mean, at 46.6 now, I'm sure that they can do things to, move the numbers around, but that's still a huge cap hit.
Right.
I mean, like, by any measure, that's a huge cap hit.
Yeah, that's sucking a lot out of the team right there. So if he wants to try and win another Super Bowl and kind of solidify his career as one of the greats, he should stay in Green Bay. But if he wants to cash out and make as much money as he can, then I could see he's looking at other options like Denver, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, Denver does like signing older quarterbacks who they think they can bring in and real quick win a Super Bowl like they did
when they think when they think they have a roster that's good enough to contend.
Yeah.
Which they do. My problem, though, is that's just going to be – that division would be crazy.
Which one, the AFC West?
That would be nuts. You would have Rodgers, Mahomes,
and Justin
Herbert
coming up.
And Derek Carr?
Yeah, that's a crazy division.
That's a crazy division. I don't know how you come out of that division to make the playoffs.
I don't think Rodgers particularly cares about that.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to say is that there's kind of this weird – balancing act that has to happen within Rodgers first. It's got to be up to Rodgers if he wants to really try and cash out and make as much money as possible, or does he want to try and win one more Super Bowl ring? That's what it really all comes down to in my mind.
Yeah, I'm leaning to the side of him just wanting to cash out. I mean, you can disguise it however you want to about him feeling like, oh, Green Bay disrespected me. I don't have enough guaranteed money, yada yada yada. I think it's really just about the figure. I think he just wants to be paid more. He saw Mahomes get $40+ million a year. He's sitting there last year, $27 million. He's going, hold on, I'm about 12-13 mil short.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, so you have that factor. Also, like you said before, and this I think has to still be an issue. I don't care what anybody says. The fact that he's not gotten vaccinated.
You
know,
can't ignore it. No matter what side you fall on the discussion, the NFL is a business and the Green Bay Packers are a business. If you have a $46 million asset who's going to be out a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Because he tests positive for COVID.
If I'm an owner, I'm like, excuse me, I'm not giving you $46 million to sit on the bench with an illness that you can take preventative measures against.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from a purely business standpoint.
That doesn't seem like a smart move to me.
No.
So that's a huge factor. And then for Green Bay, what do you do with Davante Adams? Because Davante Adams has made it explicitly clear that he wants to play with Aaron Rodgers until he retires. So if Rodgers goes, is that the end of Davante Adams in Green Bay as well?
Well, they won't be $40 million over the cap anymore.
No, but are you also down the wide receiver as well?
I mean, potentially. I think Davante Adams is saying that until they float a top 5 contract his way. Because Davante Adams is somebody you pay. Aaron Rodgers at 38 is not somebody you're paying top dollar.
Yeah, but then I guess the question at that point is how much does Davante Adams trust Jordan Love? Because that's who you'd be getting passes from.
Well, the question is how much do the Packers trust Jordan Love? Because there's been some rumors about him as well, about them wanting to move him. I mean, the Packers, if they were really ballsy, they could just push the plunger and detonate the whole team, start from scratch. I don't think they're at that point. They have, I think, a talented enough team.
Especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. But there's going to be a reckoning at some point in Green Bay because it's not fair you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. And I think, I mean, really in the past, 70 years, they've had 3 quarterbacks, basically.
Just about.
They have Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, give or take a couple years here and there. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But
where does Jordan Love fit into this?
I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers took him, 3-4 years to get on the field as a starter. Jordan Love is
entering his third year.
So you're on the Aaron Rodgers track if they believe in him. I don't know. We've seen nothing of the kid.
Yeah.
I say
only one game.
Look, I say give him a shot. Aaron Rodgers, you have to ask yourself this. How much longer are you going to pay Aaron Rodgers when he decides that he wants to move to Arizona and cleanse the rest of his life?
Yeah, do this weird.
When's he going to go full? When is he going to go full hippie and decide that? Yeah. What happens if he decides to do a cleanse on the bye week and he's not ready for the next game?
He's still full of crap.
I'm busting his chops for the cleanse thing, but realistically, how much are you going to pay a 38 going on 39-year-old quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's back-to-back MVP winner, but there's just a lot of strikes against him. I don't know.
But one bad hit, he plays in a division with Khalil Mack.
Yeah, if he's in.
If he's in the NFC North.
Yeah. Oof.
What if he goes to the NFC East with Washington or the Giants? Then he plays in a division with all these crazy defensive lines.
Washington would not be a big stretch. That would.
I mean, they could do it.
And Ron Rivera said something very weird on Rich Eisen's show, where he said that the next QB of the first QB of the Washington Commanders may not even be on this team yet. He may still be in free agency or on the trading block.
Interesting. That's weird.
That's not something to hype up Taylor Heineke, in my opinion. That sounds to me like they had enough. They had enough Heine.
They had
enough Heine from Heineken.
Okay.
So I don't know. They're as much as we've put up kind of these red flags for Aaron Rodgers. It's weird. I think there's still probably an active market for him.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I think the Packers would be smart to move on from him. Because think about it. You clear $46.6 million from your cap, bring you immediately under the cap so you can start making other plays. You can still be contentious in a division that's not really that good.
Yeah.
So you can move all this.
Tennessee's another one, too.
Yeah.
I've been hearing rumors on Tennessee.
Look, you move all the cap. You stay contentious in a bad division. Now that you have, some draft or now that you have some cap space, you also get draft capital to continue rebuilding around a young quarterback. It's incredibly advantageous for the Packers to move Rodgers, this offseason.
You know what? I want to see a Les Snead Rams move.
Okay.
Last year, the Rams went all in on Matthew Stafford.
You want to see a team go all in on Aaron Rodgers?
It's working.
Yeah.
The last 2 seasons has shown
Brady and then Stafford.
If you've got a above average roster and all you need is just an above average quarterback, it's time to put in all your chips into the center.
I mean, why not?
Les Snead, F those draft picks.
Yeah.
He had his shirt on the Super Bowl parade that said F those draft picks.
Nice.
That is the new mantra.
I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. You can either spend them on a completely unknown commodity, or if you believe you're close enough, you're right. You could just spend them all and get, a proven talent.
Well, this is it. You got one on the market here.
I could easily see. I mean, I like the idea of Tennessee. I like the idea of the Broncos. I think the Broncos might not be far off. They were sniffing at maybe a playoff berth with, I don't know who they have at quarterback. Nobody.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Some random dude. Oh, Teddy Bridgewater. What could a Rodgers do in that thin air, though?
He's literally Bridge.
He's literally Bridge,
It's literally in his name.
But what could Rodgers do in that thin air up there,
Yeah. I don't... Oh, there's so many options that this could go down.
All I know is that the NFC is going to be a quarterback carousel this upcoming non-playing season.
I would say, though, if his goal is to get a Super Bowl ring, he should stay in the NFC. Going to the AFC, I think, would be murder.
I think the AFC is way too tough. The Chiefs and the Bills alone, then you got Tennessee as well.
Coming in the next year, the AFC is going to be stacked. There's going to be a lot of good teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
So I don't understand if that's your goal. I don't understand why you would switch teams.
If you want to win a Super Bowl, you take a pay cut in Green Bay.
Yep, that's the answer. But we'll see what Aaron Rodgers decides to do eventually. And I have a feeling that some of these moves are going to be made soon because, the NFL can't stay dormant for long.
No.
March Madness is going to be coming up, the Masters, NBA playoffs. So, they got to wrangle away some of the attention from those events.
You got to stay relevant, man.
Yep, the non-playing season, as they call it behind the scenes.
Crazy.
Speaking of a team that we mentioned in that mix, one of them was Washington. And apparently we no longer have to call them the Washington football team because now they are the Washington Commanders. Yeah! Who's excited for the commies?
Oh, man, I didn't even think of that. That's awesome.
Yep. Because of that, I feel like Washington and New England should face off against each other once a year.
Oh, absolutely.
That should be the 17th game for all time.
The Patriots versus the commies.
As long as they're doing this weird 17-game nonsense, that 17th game should consistently be the Washington commies versus the New England Patriots.
Oh, my gosh. I just randomly started researching this. So, yes, I agree. But I didn't realize that a team based in Washington, D.C., you could abbreviate Commanders to commies. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. The name is just awful.
It is.
It's just so bad.
Is so bad.
Do you know that nobody likes the name? So they took a poll, apparently. Only 5% love the name. 36% like it. But more than, the rest of the poll either dislikes or hates the name.
You're gonna be okay. Say the goddamn words. You're gonna be okay. Oh, God. Say the goddamn words.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the PR department trying to convince everyone that this is a good name. You're gonna like this name. You're gonna love this name.
This is the Washington Post conducted a citywide poll of D.C. About 1,000 residents participated, and about 60% of them said that they either disliked, hated, or had no opinion of the name. Surprisingly, 43% that said they preferred the Washington football team.
Yeah, you know what? It started to grow on me a little bit.
The
this
Washington
football team.
It's so basic. It just gets the point across. It's no nonsense. It's,
and it kind of makes sense, too, in terms of where football came from with rugby and soccer, that they're called football clubs.
Yeah.
You know what? It grew on me after like a couple of years.
Yeah.
I wish they would have gone Washington Team Football so that their abbreviation would be WTF.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. But you know what? That would be better than this BS Washington Commanders.
I don't like it. It sounds dumb. I would have preferred some alliteration. The Washington Warriors, the Washington Washingtons. I mean, anything.
Washingtons.
I don't know. The Washington Monuments. I mean, like literally anything is better than the Commanders. That sounds so. It's like a kids' football team.
You know what it sounds like?
What?
It sounds like a generic make a team in Madden.
It does. It's like when I used to do a make a team. It was like the Ambler Dragons, the Ambler Snakes. It's like
the Norristown Commanders.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm ragging on these names when like the Philadelphia have the Eagles, but the Eagles, that means something.
Yeah, that means something.
There's symbolism behind that. It's well thought out, and it has a nice ring to it. The Washington Commanders
has nothing.
Yeah,
has no alliteration. Commanders is a really long word.
It is. No, it is. I was just gonna say it's a long word. I'm trying to think of the other long one that I can think of is like Buccaneers, but you shorten it to Bucks. Tampa Bay Bucks.
You shorten it to commies. Here we go.
They messed up. The
Washington Commies.
We should have been on their marketing and department.
No,
or their whatever department.
I'm glad I have avoided this hurricane of a mess.
No, we could have helped them.
No, I don't want to help this team. They're just immune to good advice.
They really are. Everything about this franchise is just bad and worse.
Yeah.
I saw another report. They were thinking about trading for Deshaun Watson.
Woo! There you go. Just keep the bad decisions flowing.
It's amazing. We'll always have something to talk about.
Yeah, make the Eagles look good. This is great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It all starts from the top. Dan Snyder's a weird person.
It is just it is a festering wound of a franchise and an organization.
I don't think they realize what they've hired with Ron Rivera. You know? Like I think like
if he were allowed to actually affect some culture change there, I think they could be, they could legitimize themselves.
It wouldn't surprise me if whenever he leaves the Washington organization, he's not the next one with like a lawsuit against the former team like Brian Flores is.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh boy, the Brian Flores thing.
Yeah.
Well, all right. It's not in the rundown, but do you want to touch on it?
Yeah, I mean there was an update in it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
so you want me to
yeah, because you have the information. I figured enough with the Commanders. Let's get to something
enough
else.
with the Commanders. Basically, as part of the lawsuit, Brian Flores also has revealed that the Miami Dolphins asked him to sign a NDA,
a non-disclosure agreement.
Right, asking him not to mention things that happened while he was during his tenure as the Miami Dolphins head coach, which I don't care how you look at it, whether or not some coaches do sign an NDA, this sounds shady as hell to me that they would actually come up to him and ask him to sign one of those. So it just adds further fuel to the fire. And the Miami Dolphins, that's another team that should apparently just sell to another owner, fresh owner, get rid of that owner. I feel like there's like a weird section of NFL owners that they should be forced by now to sell their team. Dan Snyder, this guy for the Dolphins. I don't know how that they're staying put. It's going to have to happen at some point.
So, you know what? I just did a quick search on this NDA business here. So, what happens is if he had agreed to sign the NDA because he got fired in the middle of a contract, he would have been paid out. And the only way he gets paid out is by signing the NDA. So really by not signing it, he gave up millions of dollars just so he could talk.
Yeah.
So think of it this way. Now, whether or not he wins this lawsuit, right, he could have had a guaranteed couple of $1 million.
But he sacrificed it to bring this evidence to light.
And this is where I'm thinking that there is real validity to this, because not only did he sacrifice millions up front, but also he's sacrificing what's going to be his coaching career.
His head coaching career.
Head coaching career.
He won't be a head coach anymore.
To talk about this.
He may be an assistant coach. He may be
an OC or whatever, or a DC, whatever.
A coordinator.
A coordinator.
But he's not going to be a head coach.
Yeah. And so that to me says there's some real validity behind what's happening here with Miami.
Yep. So I don't know. I feel like we need to create a pool of these owners that need to sell the team.
Yeah. You said Detroit.
Detroit, another one? Oh, God, another one.
Oh, you didn't mention Detroit?
Another. Oh, how do these people still maintain NFL ownership?
So, wait, who was on the list? Detroit, Miami,
Washington.
Just
get out of here. Like, Detroit literally traded their quarterback away. He wins the Super Bowl. They have a first-round draft pick that they thought was going to be a bonus draft pick. It's the 32nd damn pick.
Literally last pick you could possibly get.
It might as well be the second-round pick.
I say just trade it away at that point.
Sell the whole team. Move Detroit. I don't know. Send them to San Diego. I don't know. San Diego, those fans got screwed over. Give them a team.
San Diego and St. Louis both deserve.
St. Louis, another one. They got screwed over too. Send them a franchise.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you nobody in Detroit is happy with the Lions right now.
Oh, man. If that had happened in Philly, there'd be riots in the street. Buildings would be burning.
Yes. So that's what I have to say on that. Make those owners sell their teams. I'm getting sick and tired of some of the way these franchises are being run.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. We demand that the NFL force Detroit, Washington, and Miami to sell the
NFL
franchises.
commissioner, that would be one of my first things.
You take office? I don't know. You get you get hired? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. I get the blessing.
You got the blessing from the football guide.
Yeah,
gods.
NFL. I don't know. Whatever the blessing is.
And Rich turns around. He smites Washington, Miami, and
Detroit, Miami. You're all getting new owners.
Okay, so where do the teams go? They go to San Diego, St. Louis. What's the third city that gets a team?
I don't know. London.
They do want to.
The NFL wanted to move to London.
It's either London or Mexico City, I hear.
London.
They want to London.
Okay. That would be.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. And thus I have decreed. I would fix everything.
Amen.
Yes, amen. And there you go. That will wrap it up. What an interesting way to wrap up the sports sampler at the end of all that with a blessing and a proclamation.
Beautiful.
Yes, there you go. But for right now, our podcast ritual will have to take a brief pause. But don't go anywhere because we still got the entertainment entree and the non-fortune cookie odd news coming at you when we return. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 a.m, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
that clip is already coming into play.
Yes, already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on?
I don't know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the hell?
I don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Bezos, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh, my God.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to... Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then Amazon can determine what medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder. I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Oh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. A lot of news there to talk about in the non-playing season of the NFL between possible quarterback moves and weird rebranding and all that fun stuff. But now we're going to move right along into the second part of our show where we've got some news in the movie, TV, video game world with the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty?
Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, entertainment entree time. We're officially locked and loaded. But before we get into news topics, what we have to do is let you know what's coming up this immediate weekend with movies, TV, and video game releases with the segment Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got? What should people be aware of?
Well, this week it's going to be a quick week. In television, we have Law and Order.
Oh.
Yeah, the original.
That's still around?
It's still around. It's coming back to NBC on Thursday at 8 p.m. You know what Law and Order is.
Yeah.
Watch it or don't.
Dun, dun.
Dun. This is
I can't play the sound effect while the music's playing. So
yeah. Dun dun.
We have to do it. Dun dun.
But what's interesting, this is returning for its 21st season, 12 years after its last season wrapped up. So it's just like been a crazy. I don't know what they've been doing for that long, but yeah.
Yeah. What do you do?
I have no idea.
Oh, there you go. I can do that.
There you go. He found it.
I can pull it up on my different feed here. So there you go. That's the best I can do.
So there, you guys, you know what Law and Order is about. Watch it or don't. 21st season. Yeah, 12 years after the 20th season premiered. So there you go.
Crazy.
But in video games, something new. Elden Ring comes to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One, I believe. This is the latest super difficult fantasy action RPG made by, I believe it's From Software. I did not research this at all.
Good job, Mike.
But what makes this, it's From Software and Bandai Namco. But what makes this one...
You were researching too much of Aaron Rodgers.
I had to research about the cleanse.
Yeah, cleanse diet.
I had to research all the different steps of the cleanse.
Yeah.
But no, what makes this game unique is that it also has been made in partnership with George R.R. Martin. He contributed to creating the world and the story and the characters. So fans are really excited about this. It's expected to do really well commercially and critically. So if you're into really demanding and challenging games with very rich world building. This one might be for you. That's Elden Ring, coming to all major consoles this week, and that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, Mikey, thank you for that segment. This week in entertainment. It's all right. I can understand being a little lackadaisical on This Week in Entertainment when we have a topic such as Marvel and the movies that we're going to talk about here for the main topic here in Entertainment Entree. But more particularly has been kind of more dissing from legendary directors.
Yeah.
I just realized I skipped the whole thing that you wanted to mention. I'm sorry. I wanted to get into the things that I know about. So sorry about that.
We're just like, screw you and your things. No.
All right, but
no, because they do kind of both tie in because there's
so,
this
all right, so actually we'll go with the pros first. How about that?
Right.
So
well,
all right, ignore what I said before. This guy wants Marvel.
So here's the real thing with Marvel in the movies is because right now the movie industry has a very contentious relationship with Marvel movies. They're a big part of the movie industry, and a lot of fans love it, but a lot of the big old, the old guard in Hollywood does not. So we have two sides of this kind of coin here. You have people like director Kevin Smith here, who did Clerks,
Dogma.
There you go.
Jay and Silent Bob.
Lots of popular films, none of which I've seen. But we
gotta change that.
I know. I don't know.
He's a local Jersey guy. How have you not seen?
Screw Jersey.
Whoa, damn.
No. I kid all you Jersey fans.
The Costanzo Caravan is not going to be welcomed in Jersey.
Well, that sucks because we got to travel through Jersey to get to the beach. So down the shore.
I love how you just instituted the beach as a separate state.
I used to tell my friends from Jersey, I said, look, Jersey is one long flat road that leads to the beach.
Yeah.
There's nothing else in Jersey. South Jersey is completely dependent on Philadelphia. North Jersey is completely dependent on New York. Prove me wrong. Kevin Smith said, though, in a recent interview that he thinks...
I got to just real quick point out.
Okay.
Because it's funny. Every now and then I'll hear an argument for Central Jersey, and I'm
no,
like...
there's no... What is Central Jersey?
I hate to say it. There's no Central Jersey. Unless you're literally talking about, like, that eerie, like, farmland in the middle of Jersey where, like, yeah, you
Is there enough
drive
people
past.
in there to count it as a thing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Because otherwise, no, it should be North and South Jersey. It's Central Jersey. I don't know if that real. I don't know. That's a stretch to me.
If there's a Central Jersey, there also needs to be a Central Dakota, and a Central Carolina.
Oh no, we can't have 52 states.
There needs to be a Central Korea. You can't start with the Central nonsense. You guys are gonna ruin everything.
Okay, so
there needs to be a Central Virginia.
All right, so we're gonna put this down right now. There's no Central Jersey.
There's no Central Jersey.
Okay. All right, back to Marvel.
Back to Marvel. Rewind. Back up. So director Kevin Smith from Jersey said recently in an interview that he believes that Spider-Man No Way Home was snubbed from the Oscars. He says, quote, they got 10 slots. They can't give one of the biggest effing movies of the last 3 years. Man, and they're like, why won't anyone watch this show? Like, effing make a populist choice. F, man. There's a lot of Fs in there.
Yeah.
You got how many slots? Throw in Spider-Man for God's sakes. Let him swing in there. And to his point here, Spider-Man, at the time of recording, has made $1.83 billion at the box office. I think it's kind of popular.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have seen it.
Yeah, I would also just like to say, man, other than like Dune, I do feel like this list of Best Picture nominees, I feel like I haven't seen... Oh, and Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up.
I feel like I haven't seen any of these movies, and I feel so out of touch.
Speaking of Don't Look Up, because in another interview, during a show, Jimmy Kimmel said, again, that Spider-Man should have been nominated, and he specifically called out Don't Look Up. He's like, are you telling me Spider-Man No Way Home isn't better than No Way Up? It absolutely is. And I said, you know what? I wonder how it does fare. Now, commercially, better than all of them. Let's look at it critically. 5 films nominated this year. There's 10 films nominated. 5 films were scored 75 or lower on Metacritic. Spider-Man had a very comparable 771. So that's well within the margin of, a bad review here and there, of being right on par with the majority of the Oscar-nominated films.
Yeah.
So why isn't Spider-Man nominated?
I will, yeah.
Let's flip it over to...
I would actually pretty much agree with everything in this pros argument.
Right. So let's flip it over then.
But now,
to the other side of the argument.
Yeah, the side I really wanted to get to. the old men yelling at the sky.
All right, go ahead, old man.
Yes.
Yell away. Shake your fist. Shake your fist harder, boy.
Right. Joining Scorsese recently, we have Francis Ford Coppola, who decided to clarify some comments he made a couple years ago about Marvel films. Pretty much, he said on the record that he disapproves of the ease of which the films are made, and basically called Marvel films despicable, and that they go to the same formula over and over and over again. And again, this is another one of those older directors kind of lamenting over the current way these movies are being made and everything like that. And Scorsese definitely had a lightning rod of activity when he was doing interviews for The Irishman, and he had his critiques on Marvel. I don't think that they're out. I don't think they're wrong. But it kind of saddens me that they feel like they have to take shots at the new movies in order to kind of make noise about their movies, which I'm a little disappointed at. But
yeah.
At the same time, I don't think they're wrong either. And it's a shame. I forget the article that I read about kind of this movement of these aging directors not liking the, quote, Marvel era of movie making. But it kind of lends credence to this point, is that these Marvel movies, because of how successful that they've been, all you have to do to greenlight any movie is say that it's part of a Marvel property, part of a DC property, part of a Star Wars property, part of a Lord of the Rings property, any sort of franchise that has a track record of making some sort of profit. All you got to do is say it's associated with it, and your movie or your project 9 times out of 10 will probably get greenlit.
So I have a few comments on this. One,
and obviously the contradiction is back in Coppola and Scorsese's day, it was much harder to get a film greenlit.
It was much harder to get a film greenlit. And so I have a few points I want to make on this. The first, that just talking about what Coppola is upset about, he's saying, much like what you're saying, is they value commerce over art.
Yes.
Which is kind of sad. But I want to focus on the aspect of, his comments, or the I guess the theme that movies are easier to greenlight and to make now when they're part of a franchise. Because I want to make a distinction between getting a movie greenlit and actually making a movie.
Yes.
Because I think this is an important distinction. Yes, it's easier to get a movie greenlit if it's attached to a franchise. If you say, you go in to, the pitch meeting to the producers, and you're like, yeah, we have such and such and such attached to the film. We have the script by, this writer who did X number of other Marvel films. We got our boy Zack Snyder. We got our boy, the guy who does Guardians of the Galaxy, whoever.
James Gunn,
some big name director. Yeah, we got all these guys already attached to the project. We just need the funding. Then Marvel or Disney or Lucasfilm or, insert whatever big production company comes in here, and they put their grubby little hands all over the creative process. And back in the day, harder to get a film greenlit because they let the art be art. The producers were more hands-off. It was the creators for instance, Godfather could not be made today. I will stand firm on that point. I do not think Godfather gets greenlit and made today. So to Coppola's point, he's right in that regard. But when that movie was greenlit back in the day, he had full creative freedom to do what he wanted, to kick actors and actresses off the film if they wanted to have more say in the script, to cast whoever you wanted, to shoot however you wanted. Today, so I'm agreeing with him that it's easier to get them greenlit, But
can I just make a small addendum?
What?
Small disclaimer, though, is he did face pressure from the movie studios. Because one of the big things was he wanted Al Pacino to be Michael, and they said, no, it's got to be Caan. They wanted James Caan all the way.
But who did he end up getting?
Right. So you're right.
Do you think that Al Pacino would have been Michael in a 21st century reshoot of The Godfather? If the producers had said, we want Caan, who do you think would have been starring as Michael Corleone?
Yeah.
See, that's the difference. If anybody can stand there and tell me, oh, no, the modern producers definitely would have accepted Pacino, I don't think they would have.
Yeah.
And because I think what I'm saying is actually what Coppola is saying in a way. I'm agreeing with him that it was harder to make movies, but once you got past that hurdle, I think they had not an easier time, but they were allowed to express the art the way that they wanted to. So I'm like 75% agreeing with Coppola. Now, I disagree with his opinion that these movies aren't, worthwhile. Yes, they're formulaic. Yes, it's commerce over art. But it's hitting a nerve with people, right? And any art that makes people feel something, I think, is valid art.
That's fair.
Just because it's not. I get what he's saying, that it's not risky. It's formulaic. But guess what? People like formulas. And let's not pretend that The Godfather isn't also formulaic, because it follows the largest formula ever, the monomyth, the hero's journey.
Yep.
So does Star Wars. I mean, all these risky films, they follow. There are basic plot structures that everything sort of, unless you're some really weird avant-garde director,
Quentin
Tarantino, or who's the Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick, a 15-minute lava lamp LSD fueled thing in 2001 Space Odyssey.
Look, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's absolutely something wrong with that, because it completely destroys the pacing of the film, and it doesn't even follow what the book says. But anyway.
Wow, I didn't know you had that much intrigue on that one.
Rich, who's the baby at the end?
Look, man.
Did you know that the book is actually, it's just aliens?
Look.
At the end of 2001 Space Odyssey, it's just aliens.
But Kubrick wanted to make this about a whole different ballgame.
It's just, if you read the book, it's just aliens.
Yeah,
it's the History Channel, aliens. But that's the book.
But I don't read, so.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't even acknowledge it.
Yeah, I don't read. I'm sorry.
I don't read. Yeah.
The visuals strike me.
Neither did Coppola, because The Godfather doesn't follow the book either.
There you go.
It follows it, but not to a T. And also, let's talk about Coppola making a franchise and then re-releasing the Coppola cut of The Godfather. Is he not doing what he just accused modern Hollywood of doing?
Well, are you talking about that whole Coda thing?
The Coda, yeah. Well, the Coda, and there's also the Coppola version where he puts it chronologically.
Oh, the saga.
They've had 2 re-releases of the Godfather trilogy.
But it's been around for 50 years.
But also,
that doesn't really surprise me.
He made a threequel 20 years later.
But that doesn't surprise me, considering how
long. And he
cast
his daughter.
So that's a little,
I'm just saying.
A little bit of close
Look, when you pick
connections.
up the stones, better make sure your glass walls are padded.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
So, what is your what are you throwing the stones at?
No, what I'm saying to Coppola is, I've long had a problem with these old guard being so resistant to change in the modern way that films are made and what modern films are. He's bemoaning Marvel. Marvel's bringing together worldwide audiences, and they're enjoying something. Why decry something like that? But more than that, you look at the Best Picture nominees. I think we are in an era, Coda, for example, on Apple TV+, the first film predominantly featuring deaf actors and actresses.
Okay.
So you want to talk about risks? You want to talk about new films? I don't buy it. I just don't.
Oh, so films are still riskier.
I think they're still riskier. They, are, I would argue, harder to make because of that. Harder to get greenlit now that they're not a formula. So there's two sides of this coin. Like, yes, franchise films take over the majority of Hollywood, but when you're not part of a franchise, it's nigh impossible to get greenlit and to make a film. But when you do, it is super risky. It is super creative, and there is absolutely avenues for that. Look at Moonlight several years ago. Look at, like I mentioned, Coda this past year. There's tons on, and I know, yes, I'm cherry picking. Look at Roma from Netflix. I mean, all of these big art house films that are making it on streaming sites, which they also, interestingly enough, resist tooth and nail. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I can see your points. I think though the kind of more the crux of the argument is is how, you know, just anything attached to a franchise just gets the pass. I think that's what really pisses off guys like Scorsese and Coppola. They had to fight for their movies to be made, and it was probably more, you know, I don't want to say risky again, but more, you know, more.
It was a passion project.
Yeah, and probably more dangerous. You know, I mean, something like Coppola.
If something like The Godfather flops, it's all Coppola,
right?
And I think I do agree on that point. I do agree that films are hard. Were harder for them to make, but I also think here's the thing: you can't have people like Steven Spielberg several years ago saying, "Oh, my films barely get made anymore. It's so hard to get a film made," and then have guys like Coppola say, "Oh, films are so easy to get made." Which one is it?
Well, I think that's why they're trying to tie into the whole that it's, you know, for lack of a better word, Marvel's fault, but not Marvel. But the idea of that everything's got to be connected. Everything's got to be a franchise. Everything's got to be tied to a marketing plan. Everything's got to be tied to, you know,
it was their era that started it.
Well, I mean, the movie studio was kind of more the
I mean, Star Wars,
the driving force.
Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and I mean all those late 70s, early 80s movies. They're like, let's. You were still recording. What are you doing?
We're getting.
Do you want to come here?
What? Wait. What? Are we getting a visitor? What?
They can't see you. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Oh well. There you go.
Okay.
We are in a kitchen.
Sorry.
So
I was like,
there we go.
My mom's just prowling around trying to like reach something that's like just out of frame. Completely derailed the conversation. But I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well,
I think the takeaway.
What's the final takeaways?
You're right.
Here?
The takeaway is this. Like, yes, there is a certain level of favoring commerce over art. I do agree with Coppola, and yes, it is way easier to make a movie if it is attached to a franchise. I disagree with him saying that they're not risky. I believe that he's not really giving them their due. Look at Black Panther and Shang-Chi, both Marvel movies that feature predominantly marginalized, not marginalized, but like minority casts, right? Those are both risky endeavors. You look at, you know, movies that are tough to make on streaming services that make it to the Best Picture nomination. I think there's still risky film out there. I do agree with him, though, that back in the day, you did take a lot more ownership over the film. And because of that, I can understand how he felt it was riskier. Because if it went south, it was all on him.
Yeah.
I do get that.
Yep.
But I say, man, sit down and watch the movies and really try to appreciate them for what they are. Why can't you watch Citizen Kane and Spider-Man?
Yep. And I would say I kind of support Coppola's argument in theory, especially with the whole green light kind of argument, because why is there 10 damn Fast and Furious movies? All right, and let's wrap it up on that note, and we'll go to the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene, but maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Mandada bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meet Tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo! Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story, keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing the story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to first? Is it Florida?
No.
No.
It is Pennsylvania.
Uh-oh.
Not as close as last time, though.
Okay. No, it's not literally in our backyard in North Wales or Norristown?
No, but this is driving distance.
Okay.
This is in Luzerne County,
which,
if I remember correctly, I believe that's past Jim Thorpe, so it's within a driving distance.
Let's see. I will pull it up. It's Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, out that way. Yep.
Out past Allentown and Jim Thorpe. Yep. I don't think you want to go to that area of Pennsylvania all that much.
Jim Thorpe is nice, though. We went there actually, last year for Valentine's Day weekend. That was
that's because
a lovely town.
Jim Thorpe is like not too far. I feel like Wilkes-Barre's kind of big, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Scranton's there. All right, maybe Luzerne's not that bad.
But maybe just make sure you stick around cities.
Yeah.
Stick around developments.
Yeah.
Don't go out into the woods.
Yeah. When you hear fiddle music, go the opposite direction.
But out in Luzerne County, we're following the case of 49-year-old Robert Metello.
Okay. Metello.
Yep. According to cops, this man was alone in a parking lot outside of a nightclub. He had his jeans on the ground.
Oh, no.
And cops said that he was just out in this parking lot enjoying himself. So.
Oh, no.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Like I said, you don't need to go to Luzerne County. Why?
So just in the middle of
you don't want to see that.
Yep, middle of the parking lot, just having some fun with himself. He couldn't do it at home.
Was he standing there?
Yes.
Like he was just standing
and going to town.
Just going to town. And what time of day was this? This was at night. You said he was at a nightclub.
This was outside of a nightclub, yep.
And he was just out there.
Yep, feeding the geese.
Shooting his shot. Feeding the geese.
Yep, feeding the geese. So when cops started to confront him, he tried to walk away but fell over because his jeans.
Yeah, because his pants were on around his ankles.
Yes, his jeans were down on the ground.
Why'd you take them all the way down? You're in a parking lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I know why, because he's an exhibitionist. He wants to be all out there. But like, man,
take your damn clothes off.
Yeah, it would have been better if he just had it off.
I think you should keep them mostly on so you can still move, or just take them completely off.
Take your damn clothes off.
Yeah, should have just took them all off if the police are coming.
Yeah, at that rate, if they're around your ankles, just take them off, man.
Yep. So after he fell over, cops picked him back up and talked to him. Cops noted in the police report that he smelled of booze and had red, bloodshot eyes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Oh, I just thought of something painful. He fell while he was trying to run away while he was doing the deed.
Yeah.
I mean, that might hurt.
Well, it might hurt a little bit more after this next tidbit of information here.
Oh, no.
Because the cops asked him after they announced they were going to arrest him, they announced him, do you have any weapons on him? At which point, Metello said that, yes, I have a pink toy, and out of his buttocks came a pink dildo. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Full blown, right up in there.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
He then offered the sex toy to the cops.
Oh.
And the cops politely declined
He's
the
like,
offer.
Hey, you guys want to take a spin? Some good stuff, man.
I mean, you asked about it.
Yeah, don't knock it till you try it.
Here it is.
Here it is.
You asked?
Go ahead, officer. You have a go.
You asked if I had anything on me.
Oh, man.
When the cops asked why he thought that was a weapon, Metello said that it was in Grand Theft Auto, and that was a weapon that you could use in the Grand Theft Auto series.
What a weird person.
He knows his video games.
It was in a video game.
So at that point, he got his clothes on and was arrested by the officers. I got a mugshot of him if you want to take a look at him. There you go.
I feel like
our video feed.
He's definitely somebody who would do that in a parking lot.
Yep. There's Robert Metello. That is him.
Lovely.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I don't know.
Beautiful. He was charged with indecent exposure, open lewdness, and public drunkenness.
Okay.
But he has pleaded not guilty.
Oh, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
When do they ever plead guilty?
He pleads not guilty here and says that he was only just touching himself quickly and was only spanking his ass and did not have a toy on him.
I don't understand what you mean by touching himself quickly. What is that? Does that matter? Like, is it if it was a slow stroke or a fast stroke?
I guess he's trying to insinuate he was just adjusting himself
with his pants all the way down. So I got to make an adjustment. He pulls his pants and underwear all the way down.
Right, I got to let it breathe. I'm trying to reorganize
here. He's got to air it out down there.
Right.
You know? He was dancing at the club. He's working up a sweat.
Yeah, it gets a little nasty down there.
He's got to air it out, flop it around a little bit, you know? Fluff it up.
Right, I'm trying to reorganize down there. It's a filing system.
It's a filing system. It's a very, very specific organization system. It's...
No. It's not at all what you think.
Yeah, apparently that's kind of his defense here. He said that he never had the toy on him. I don't know if
where'd it come from.
Yeah, look, the police have. Unless the police know who you are and have a vengeance against you. I don't know why they would make up this story. And said that I was just spanking my ass. That's not a crime. Right? I
mean, I guess it's not, but you were also naked, so...
Yeah, I'm just spanking my butt. There's nothing wrong with that. How dare you?
And also...
This is America.
This is America. That's one of the amendments.
Yes.
You know?
Amendment 31.
It's, actually, I think it's part of the freedom of speech.
Yeah, actually. My butt cheeks were making noise.
You have the right to... You have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and the right to gather, and the right to spank yourself.
Yeah, my butt cheeks were actually speaking on behalf of me.
Well, when you slap them and then make that, that smack, it's speaking.
Yeah. So there you go.
Clapping those butt cheeks.
Well, he's going to fight this. He has another hearing scheduled in April. So.
This is going to be really funny when the cops are like, yes, we actually have your dildo in evidence, and they'll just DNA test it.
Well, I don't know if they took it, because, I don't know. Remember, they offered it to him, so maybe they're like, I don't want to touch it. I know where that's
No, they would collect it for evidence, though, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to touch it.
So you just let him keep it? He's in the back of the cop car just holding his little dildo? It's like, wee! Just like holding it. It's like no, you can't let him keep it. What happens if he decides to throw it? What happens if he decides to use it as a weapon?
Oh yeah, if it is an actual weapon.
He told them it was a weapon.
Oh, that's right, and he believed it was a weapon.
He believed it. So you got it right. So at any moment he could turn that thing around and just bop, bop, bop.
Like in Grand Theft Auto.
Like in Grand Theft Auto, right?
There you go. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Exactly.
Well,
that's when you take a 1-star rating to a 2-star rating.
Yep. And
can't let that happen.
I'm not thinking like a.
You got to think like a perverted Pennsylvania. No, I was gonna say you got to. Oh, right. The cop is yeah. But also you got to get in the mind of the perverted Pennsylvania odd news perp too.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
So There you go. I'm curious.
I just think it's interesting that also he was just doing that in a parking lot, like fully naked.
Yeah, you couldn't find a room in your house, a hotel room,
but like, what do you
a bathroom,
like anything? Sit in the car. You were just
sit in the car,
like literally anything. You came out of a club. There had to be bathrooms there. I mean, I know why he wanted to do it to show off. He's an exhibitionist, but like. I don't know. You're not even like looking at anything. You're in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, lampposts. Oh, street signage. Yeah. Look at them road signs.
Ooh, speed hump, baby. Speed hump.
Yeah. Oh, look at that chain link fence. Oh, yeah.
Speed hump. Woo.
Like, oh, look at those parked cars. We had that person.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She was sexually aroused
by the cars.
Cars was mechanophilia.
We need to get that.
That was local, wasn't that? I think that was in like this vague area.
Yeah, I don't think it was like drivable local.
Oh, wasn't?
I think it was on the East Coast, but I don't think it was drivable local.
Okay.
But
well,
yeah,
mechanophilia.
We should get her and this guy and hook them up.
Oh my God, them in a parking lot together?
Woo!
Forget about it.
You could
forget about. I mean, think about how many crimes committed right
there.
Put
on a show and sell cars.
Oh my God. Charge for entry, man. They make a killing right there. Pay for all their legal fees.
There you go. I think that's an idea. Call them up.
I like it.
There you go. And there you go. That's what I have for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news. Just
Amazing.
Right in a parking lot. Just
why not?
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
Look, when the mood strikes you,
you start.
You can't ignore inspiration when it happens.
Yeah, you take off those pants and you get to work
all the way down. Apparently,
all the way down. Even if you're just
but not off. All the way down, but not off.
And then trip over yourself.
Right.
That's
exactly.
also a key element to this.
He had to have damaged himself a little bit, right?
Depends on how you fell. I hope he didn't fall on his butt with the toys still in it.
I'm more concerned of him falling forward and just like scraping.
I don't know which is worse. Because you have the toy up there. If you fall,
I assume he's running, but he's like rock hard. So he's just like straight into the ground. That just sounds. He's in a parking lot. You're thinking about when your palms get scraped when you fall.
Oh.
I'm just saying. There's 3 points of contact there.
Oh. All right, there you go. you know, we've reached the point that it's time to start ending the show when we're talking about specific scrapes that you can endure down there.
You don't. That's why you don't want to do it in a parking lot, because if you have to run.
Yeah, this sounds like a weird version of Saw or something. I want to play a game.
Put your pants down around your ankles.
We're going to see running. How far can you run?
Pumps them full of Viagra.
Oh, dear God.
Forces them to run with their pants around their ankles.
We'll see how long the blood lasts.
God, that sounds horrific.
Yeah. All right. On that note,
anyway,
we're getting too kooky here, so I think it's time to start wrapping this episode up. What a way to close out this interesting episode. We had NFL non-playing season talk.
Yes, we did.
And then the Marvel talk, and
that's
then
right. And then
this
the
wonderful
parking
story.
lot talk.
Parking lot. Yep.
Yeah.
What happens in a parking lot usually stays at the parking lot.
That's right.
Except when the cops are called.
That's right.
There you go.
Happens in Luzerne County, stays in Luzerne County.
Yeah, unless you get arrested.
Right. Then it's public record.
And then we know about it here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in on this crazy episode. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those lovely hubbabaloos.
That's right. In addition to the hubbabaloo, you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can find video versions of the podcast. But you can also get the audio-only version of the podcast by subscribing to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon devices. We're everywhere, so make sure you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on YouTube or the podcast service of your choice.
That's right. We also have a SoundCloud page where we have past bits called Mini Noodles, fun bits from the Crispy Noodle archives that you can check out and re-listen and have a quick laugh. on the go.
That's right. So many ways to get in touch with and share the Crispy Noodle podcast. But if you want to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on the Twitters. Let us know what's happening. If you have an odd news story that you want us to talk about, send it my way. If you have any other topics you want us to talk about, send it to either the Crispy Noodle or either of our Twitter accounts. Or if you got just general feedback, let us know how we're doing.
Yeah.
Let us know how we're doing. Tweet at us there as well. But for right now, we got to start wrapping this up. This has been the Crispy Noodle podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. You got anything else, Mike?
Spider-Man should have been nominated.
All right, there you go. That's Mikey's parting words. But right now, it's time to wrap it up. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine people.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.